From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's Tuesday, December 15th, right now on Good Morning Indiana.
Please do your part so that we can help the entire community not to have that surge upon a surge.
Despite the vaccine, a potential crisis during this pandemic looms in central Indiana. This morning, how hospitals from across the area are coming together.
One of the most important things that kids do in their life at this point in time is form relationships.
The pandemic having an impact on the mental health of many kids, what parents should watch for, and the help that's available.
We would like to see more young drivers get in the market.
And one industry growing faster than ever, hiring Hoosiers, looking at how one area college is making finding a good paying job in this thriving field much easier.
Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday here on Good Morning Indiana, and meteorologist Todd Clausen is standing by. Todd, I have the snow boots, the snow shovel, I have the snow blower just in case, but I'm going to wait for you to tell me what's happening before I take any action. Good morning to you.
Yeah, you know, you may have enough snow down there in Johnson County to fire up the snow blower, at least just for fun at least, but
right,
I think the shovel would definitely be sufficient. That's for tomorrow. Today we're completely dry, though. That is the good news, just increasing clouds. Today is the opportunity, though, to kind of get all that stuff ready for potentially our first decent snow of the season. It's not going to be a huge snow for us, but nonetheless, it could create some issues. This morning, though, we're in the 20s anywhere you go. 21 in Peru, 23 in Bloomington. You factor in the wind, and it does feel like it's in the teens in some locations, so you definitely need to bundle up across the area. The clouds already starting to increase, as you can see, and eventually it just becomes an overcast day, so it's not going to be as bright as it was yesterday afternoon for us. And then there's that snow still well off to our west. That arrives by about this time tomorrow, so increasing clouds this morning, mostly cloudy this afternoon. Just bundle up. We're in the 20s at least through about 10 a.m. and then eventually only just above freezing for your afternoon high. We'll talk more about the snow and the accumulation for us heading our way tomorrow, coming up in Maine weather in just a couple minutes. Raphael.
Thank you, Todd. Good morning to Edinburgh, Greencastle, and Danville. Let's stay west of downtown Indianapolis. This is a live view from our southwest side, an in-dot camera at I-70 at the West Airport ramps. As you can see, the morning commute is picking up, but the great news this morning, no major problems to report here in the greater Indianapolis area. The time now is 6:03, and we continue to follow the rollout of Pfizer's COVID vaccine to hospitals across the country. In Indiana, Parkview Hospital in Fort Wayne gave the state's first doses to healthcare workers. By the end of the week, more than 50 Indiana hospital and clinics are expected to receive the vaccine. Meanwhile, the authorization process continues for other COVID-19 vaccines. Moderna's vaccine could be approved by Friday. Vice President Mike Pence will return to the Hoosier State today to learn more about vaccine production in Monroe County in Bloomington. Mr. Pence will visit Catalent Biologics. The company is partnering with multiple companies on COVID-19 vaccines and treatments, including Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca, and Moderna. The Vice President will tour the facility and also lead a roundtable discussion on the national vaccine effort. We'll bring you live coverage of the Vice President's visit, of course, on the WRTV app. Now to the latest on the pandemic's ongoing impact on our state as we now hit 4:04 in the morning. The state health officials report more than 5,000 additional COVID-19 cases. Since the pandemic began, more than 430,000 Hoosiers have tested positive for the virus. Monday's report of a little over more than 5,000 new cases is the lowest single-day report since November the 30th. State health officials also confirm 35 more Hoosiers have died with the virus. Since March, more than 6,500 people in Indiana have died with coronavirus. The growing number of cases continue to take a major toll on hospital resources. WRTV's Kelsey Anderson is live with the plea from hospitals as a potential crisis looms right here in central Indiana. Kelsey, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Raphael. So local hospitals, they say they are facing a potential crisis as COVID-19 cases continue to rise unabated. So hospital heads from Ascension St. Vincent, Community Health Network, Eskenazi Health, Franciscan Health, IU Health, and more, they came together yesterday to address the current state of the pandemic in central Indiana. The Hoosier State recently named a national COVID-19 hotspot with one of the highest rates of new cases per 100,000 people. Beds, ventilators, and other support systems are being stressed to their limits.
Our staff, our nurses, and all of the healthcare team, doctors, respiratory therapists, chaplains, clinical support teams, the people who clean your rooms have been dealing with COVID patients for almost 10 months. This work is physically and emotionally exhausting.
IU Health has over 1,100 employees on quarantine alone right now. Many are working extra shifts to fill the need. But news of the vaccine to be delivered and distributed Wednesday to IU Health Methodist Hospital has a lot of those healthcare workers excited, hopefully that there will be an end to this soon. Now, doctors say, like other aerosol-transmitted viruses, COVID-19, it does last longer in the wintertime in those drier temperatures and as people go inside and there's poor ventilation. So they are reminding everyone to maintain that social distancing and then, of course, limit who is in your household. And that way we can all get us a break from COVID-19 as soon as this vaccine gets rolled out. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you so much. The time now is 6:07. The virus continues to take a toll on Indiana's classrooms. The State Department of Health reports nearly 2,400 new student cases in Indiana schools. Health officials also report more than 1,000 new cases among teachers and staff members. This morning, 183 Indiana schools report no coronavirus cases. 312 schools did not report any information to the state. As a reminder, schools which are 100% virtual are not required to report that data. Throughout the pandemic, the Rebound Indiana continues to share resources to handle stress brought on by this year's challenges. The CDC says the pandemic is having a major impact on the mental health of kids and teens across Indiana and across our country. In Hamilton County, a social worker with Carmel Clay School says this is her busiest year ever. She's talking with several students each day, either via Zoom or through Messenger. She says parents should talk to their kids at home about how they're feeling and highlight positive takeaways from the past few months.
While you're talking about the challenges, making sure that we are also looking at what are the skills that the student has developed or the family has developed during this challenge, or what are some lessons learned that they have come up during this challenge. They can say, we made it through this and it has made us stronger for these reasons.
See, their best friend.
An IU Health psychiatrist also weighed in on this critical topic. She says the amount of kids that she's seeing between the ages of 11 and 16 has doubled. You can find mental health resources right now in the Rebound section of the WRTV app. We rely on the trucking industry to get critical products to our stores. So coming up, how a new program aims at helping putting you on the road to success, both in and out of the truck. It is now 6:09, Todd Clausen. I'm having tough time with time today, Todd. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm gonna go back to bed in my living room. But let me check in with you. How's it going this morning?
Well, I just got the screen back up from sleep mode, so that's good at least. Otherwise, it's a quiet morning. It's good news here at Central Indiana. But things will be changing as we head into the day tomorrow. As you see this area of low pressure, this is going to turn into a major winter storm as it makes its way towards the East Coast. It's going to give us a glancing blow, but there will be some accumulation heading our way. We'll break it down for you coming up in your WRTV Storm Team forecast.
Let's talk hiring Hoosiers. Truck drivers continue to be in high demand, especially during this pandemic. The need for items to be delivered and transported are at an all-time high. The American Trucking Association projects freight volumes will grow 36% over the next decade. That means the trucking industry will need to hire roughly 1.1 million new drivers to keep up with that high demand. This morning, WRTV's Amanda Starantino introduces us to a new opportunity from Ivy Tech, enhancing a graduate's ability to get a job in the trucking industry.
The Central Indiana Trucking Company, Venture Logistics, employs around 900 drivers, and there is always a need for more.
We'd want to grow as much as we can. With the warehousing divisions and the brokerage division, we have a lot of opportunities. We would like to see more young drivers get in the market. It's a little bit different than a lot of companies.
Jeff Davis is the Chief Administrative Officer of Venture Logistics, which has been in business since 1995. The company thrives on truck driver talent, something he hopes a new program with Ivy Tech will bring in.
It's going to allow folks to think about beyond just driving a truck. They're going to have the opportunity to get the logistics degree or hours towards it anyway. That will allow them to say they can come in and start working right away, driving a truck, making $50,000 or more a year. It's going to be an opportunity for the trucking company and the driver to decide, well, I think maybe I might want to try a different part of the business. And we have a lot of ability for them to do that.
It is called the CDL Plus program. It was developed in partnership with the Indiana Motor Truck Association and Connexus, Indiana.
A student can come into the CDL Plus program and walk out with their driver's license training and walk into a facility like Venture Logistics right out of the program.
Bryce Carpenter is with Connexus, a nonprofit organization focused on the advanced manufacturing and logistics industries in the state.
The CDL Plus program is an enhanced commercial driver's license program that not only teaches the federal minimum required training, as most states do, but also has an academic portion that includes 17 credit hours towards a 2-year logistics and supply chain degree at Ivy Tech.
Advanced manufacturing and logistics is a third of Indiana's GDP. $560 billion worth of goods come through the state each year. Predominantly, that is through the trucking industry, and there is a shortage of roughly 80,000 truck drivers nationally. The IMTA estimates there is about 4,000 drivers short within the state.
The overall goal is to eliminate some of the friction and resistance for people getting into the trucking industry from a CDL driver's perspective.
For many drivers, the financial barrier is an obstacle of entry to enter into the industry, as well as the time it takes to train. Because of the academic credits, the CDL Plus program at Ivy Tech is eligible for federal student loans, but also for the Next Level Jobs Grant, which goes towards your training.
It was a critical need before the pandemic. It's going to be even more critical on the back end, given how many more things are being delivered.
It is one opportunity for Hoosiers to find stable employment, as well as a pathway to climb the ladder in this career. For Indiana companies, this will offer a new pipeline of talent to an industry that is not going anywhere anytime soon.
A person's really going to do really well in a trucking company and proceed up the ladder and have opportunity. They need to drive a truck for at least a year or two. It gives them a perception that just someone like coming out of college with a logistics degree, they have no idea. So the opportunities at Venture would be warehousing, logistics, 3PL work, warehouse work, driver manager. There's just so many different ways that they can progress when they decide they don't want to drive a truck anymore.
Our Amanda Sarantino reporting CDL Plus is a 17 credit hour certificate that can be completed in one semester. Students will have 160 hours of training, which prepares them to become a Class A commercial driver's license holder. The CDL Plus curriculum will be offered beginning in January at 5 Ivy Tech campuses. An additional 8 locations will offer the courses as well by the end of the year. Of next year, that is. For more information on the program and how to apply, click on this story, of course, at hiringhoosiers.com. Now, time to check your forecast with our own Todd Clausen. Good morning, TK.
Raphael, good morning. It's nice and quiet, but just very cold here this morning. 24 hours from now, though, it'll be a whole different ball game as some snow will be heading in our direction. Outside right now, as you see, temperatures are in the 20s, 21 in Peru, 25 in Indianapolis, 22 is the current temperature in Bedford. Thankfully, the wind has calmed from where it was yesterday morning, and so we're just factoring in some minor wind chills. Granted, it's still very cold, and you definitely need to bundle up, but they're not quite as bad as they were yesterday or widespread widespread, but still feels like it is in the teens from Indianapolis to the north. So definitely the hat, the gloves, and the heavy coat required this morning as you get going all across central Indiana. The clouds are already on the increase for us across the area, and they'll continue to thicken up throughout the day. Some may see a little bit of sunshine here this morning, but the overall trend will be for overcast skies. And then off to our west, you notice the snow across parts of Colorado, Nebraska, and Kansas. That is going to be heading in our direction as we work our way into the day tomorrow. High temperatures today hovering at or just below freezing in northern locations. 31 Logansport, Kokomo, 33 in Anderson, about 34 to 35 degrees here in the metro area. And then as we slide to the south, just a couple degrees warmer, 38 in Bloomington, 39 the high temperature today in Bedford. If you have plans this evening, maybe heading to the state fairgrounds to check out the lights or some of the other displays across central Indiana, hovering right around freezing throughout the evening hours, but still dry with just cloudy skies. And then overnight tonight, definitely cold enough to support all snow as our storm system moves in, with temperatures that will be in the 20s. And then eventually tomorrow afternoon, we get up into the low 30s, and that's going to result in some areas changing over to a little bit of a mixed bag of precipitation as we get into the afternoon hours for tomorrow. Let me time it out for you using TrueCast. The timestamp, the top right-hand portion corner of your screen. As we go throughout the overnight hours, snow will develop, likely snowing for your morning commute tomorrow in most locations. And then the snow will continue off and on throughout the course of the morning tomorrow, and then eventually into the afternoon hours before it tapers off in the evening. And you do notice some of this mixing taking place in southern locations where that'll cut down on the snowfall totals just a little bit. About 1 to 2 inches widespread, although I think there will be some areas that are going to pick up about 3 inches of snow. With that said, it's a long duration throughout the morning, the afternoon, and into the evening hours. And I point that out because it's not a big burst of very, very heavy snow where road crews will not be able to keep up. Instead, it's going to be longer in duration and a light snow. So I do think, especially in the afternoon hours when temperatures get above freezing tomorrow, a lot of that snow may melt, especially on the treated roadways. With that said, though, definitely could have slick conditions before sunrise, after sunset, and obviously any snow and slush could create some issues on the roadways. So make sure you join us tomorrow, 4:30. We'll have the latest as the snow starts to move in. Raphael?
Todd, thank you for getting us ready for tomorrow. Right now, as we take a live look at our in-dot camera, this is just south of downtown Indianapolis. This is I-65 and Southport Road. On the right hand of your screen, you could see the southbound lanes. There was some maintenance work happening there earlier this morning. That maintenance work has wrapped up, which is great because at this point in the rush hour traffic, it's really busy in this section of the south side. So as you can see, maintenance work is wrapped up and traffic in that area is moving really, really well this morning. 'Tis the season to deck your halls, but coming up, why the demand of one item is making decorating your home easier said, than done. And you loved her on Glee. You rooted for her on Dancing with the Stars. So what's next for actress Amber Riley? Coming up on Good Morning America, the music powerhouse known simply as Riley performs a song from her self-titled debut album. Can't wait to see that on Good Morning America. And how would you like to get out of the home? Yep, and see some Christmas lights? Yes, I would. Right now is your chance to win a family voucher to Christmas Nights of Lights and the Indiana State Fairgrounds. A great place to see those lights. The Night of Lights features 1 million lights synchronized to Christmas music. This runs all the way through January the 3rd. To win, just be the 6th caller right now. You know what to do. The number 317-269-1459. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV. So what is trending at 6? Let's take you out of the country to Austria, where dogs are sniffing out COVID-positive people. The dogs could be stationed at airports where test results are not immediately available. Now, canine experts believe the dogs are not sensing the virus itself, but instead they're picking up biological messages of an immune response of affected people. Dogs are simply amazing. The next item on Dolly Parton's resume of good works, saving lives. The story comes from 9-year-old Talia Hill, who co-stars with Dolly in the Netflix holiday movie Dolly Parton's Christmas on the Square. You see, Hill says while on the set one day, everyone was told to go back to their positions for the next scene. As she was walking, she did not see a vehicle coming towards her. Hill says that Dolly stopped her from walking into the path of that vehicle. You go, Dolly. All right, we appreciate that. A retired Air Force colonel from Ohio is staying busy by helping those in need. 93-year-old John Hobson Whittles, he makes walking sticks and then sells them at the end of his driveway. So far, he's whittled more than 100 walking sticks and donated more than $650 to the local food pantry. John says the support has been so overwhelming, he sold out of those walking sticks. A GoFundMe has been set up to help the food pantry, which has raised $6,500. Again, people working together, Todd Clausen, and doing some great stuff, not only across the country, but also right here in Indiana.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to see. We say it all the time. The creativity and the generosity of people during this pandemic coming up with ways to support others is absolutely remarkable. All right, outside right now, we're dealing with just quiet and cold conditions. Temperatures this morning are in the 20s, some areas in the teens. You definitely need to bundle up as you get going on this Tuesday. Now, you don't have to contend with any precipitation here throughout the day today. That changes tomorrow as we'll start to bring in some light snow by about this time. So tomorrow morning's commute could be a little slick and tricky in spots, but today throughout the day, you'll just notice the clouds increase. It remains cold. It remains a little breezy as well, with high temperatures barely getting above freezing from Indianapolis to the north. A little better there in Bloomington as well as Columbus, but you'll definitely need to bundle up throughout the entire day. More on the potential for the snow heading our way tomorrow coming up in just a couple minutes.
So you still have time to deck the halls before the holidays, but consumer reporter John Matteries explains you might have some trouble finding things to actually deck them with this year.
First, it was disinfecting wipes, then toilet paper, then bicycles you couldn't find. And now it's Christmas lights. Looking for lights? Don't be choosy. Stores are running out of popular mini lights for Christmas, especially energy-saving LED bulbs. A report by Dow Jones says Americans are trying to brighten up those dark pandemic nights with more lights than ever before. It says chains like Walmart and Costco did not anticipate a surge in light buying, which has left shelves almost bare in many stores. Also hard to find backyard inflatables and other holiday decorations. And it's too late for stores to order more. Your best bet this late? Check drugstores and dollar stores, which don't have the sales volume of big box stores. Or try the gardening department, which may have landscape lights that could work in a pinch. Stores say demand has doubled, even tripled this year for many at-home products, which is why they're so hard to find. As always, don't waste your money. I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
John, thank you so much. For more cost-saving tips and ideas, visit the money section of our website at WRTV.com.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Now on Good Morning Indiana on this Tuesday morning, this is your 6:30 news feed. One person is dead, another missing after a fire at a vacant home on Indy's near East Side. Fire crews were called to the home on North Temple Avenue last night. Now, neighbors called 911 after hearing a loud boom and saw a man running out of the home with his clothes on fire. That man was not found, but fire crews located another person dead inside that home. A woman from Hancock County is dead after her car was hit by an SUV going the wrong way in Boone County. Lebanon police say an 83-year-old driver was traveling southbound in the northbound lanes of I-65 last night. And that SUV hit a smaller car head-on. The driver of the vehicle was 22-year-old Nicole Watson of Greenfield. Police say she was pronounced dead at the scene. The Indiana Supreme Court has suspended all jury trials in our state until March the 1st. Justices cited the need for drastic measures as COVID-19 cases continue to surge in Indiana. Chief Justice Loretta Rush says that by limiting non-essential in-court proceedings, Indiana courts can avoid intensifying the pandemic's impact across the state. Franciscan Health is teaming up with Versity Blood Center and the Mayo Clinic to help save the lives of critically ill COVID-19 patients. They're part of a convalescent plasma study. Plasma from COVID-19 patients who've recovered from the virus will be collected and given to those sick with the virus. You can learn more about this critical study and how to donate by visiting the link on your screen. That's franciscanhealth.org/COVID plasma. Thank you for starting your morning here with us on Good Morning Indiana. Lauren is off today. Todd Clausen. I'm going to enjoy Tuesday because I don't think I like what's going to happen on Wednesday, but I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, you know, it's cold but quiet today. But here we are in the middle of December. You're going to expect days like this with temperatures that are going to be in the 30s for afternoon highs. This morning, though, we're starting off in the 20s. It's a very, very cold start to our day. Thankfully, the wind not quite as strong as it was yesterday, but we're still able to factor in wind chills. 23 in Bloomington right now, 25 in Indy. When you factor in the wind, though, from Indianapolis to the north, it feels about 10 degrees colder with those wind chill values that are going to be in the teens. So you definitely need to bundle up as you get going. And honestly, there's not going to be a whole lot of warming that takes place throughout the day today because of the increase in the cloud cover. And while it's not going to be very strong, we'll continue to deal with that wind that is going to be out of the northwest. As far as what's going on off to our west, here is where you find the snow. That's what's going to be the player in our forecast for the day tomorrow. And the snow is likely going to be falling by about this time, and then it'll continue off and on throughout the day. And we'll dive into that forecast for you in more detail coming up in just a few minutes. For today, though, increasing clouds. You notice with the cloud cover, temperatures only go from about 27 degrees at 9 a.m. to 33 degrees throughout the afternoon, so not a whole lot of warming takes place. That snow, again, develops overnight. More on that in just a couple minutes, Raphael.
Good morning to Fortville, Speedway, and Franklin. Let's stay south of downtown Indianapolis as we take a look at your INDOT camera. This is I-65 at Southport Road, and here's the good news. There was some maintenance work being done in this area for the last several hours. That work has come to an end, and that's a good thing because, of course, we are now at the height of the rush hour. So those of you that are heading southbound on 65 in this area, you have smooth sailing this morning, and those of you heading northbound, as you can see, traffic is moving really well on this Tuesday. The time now is 6:31, and President-elect Joe Biden's victory in the November election is just now a formality. Mr. Biden spoke to the nation last night after the Electoral College officially gave him the win over President Trump. Indiana's 11 presidential electors all voted for President Trump since he carried the state last month. But Biden's 306 electoral votes easily took him to the presidency after a general election that saw him get more popular votes than any candidate in history. Now the president-elect says it is time for Americans to come together.
The integrity of our elections remains intact. And now it's time to turn the page, as we've done throughout our history, to unite, to heal.
Many Republicans and allies of the president are still refusing to accept the election loss, but one Indiana Republican who had previously refused to acknowledge Mr. Biden's win has changed his tune after the Electoral College vote. Senator Mike Braun issued this statement to WRTV. He said the Electoral College vote was, in his words, a watershed moment where we must put aside politics and respect the constitutional process. But Mr. Braun again criticized what he called irregularities and credible allegations of fraud in this year's election, none of which have been proven in any courts around the country. Back at the State House, when state lawmakers return to work next month, they will have a blueprint on ways to raise teacher pay right here in our state. On Monday, Governor Holcomb's Teacher Compensation Commission released 37 recommendations for state and local governments to improve pay for Hoosier teachers. The plan would cost a total of $600 million and would boost teacher average salary of Indiana teachers to $60,000 a year. Much of the new funding would come from local school districts. We have a complete rundown of the report right now on the WRTV mobile app. As the COVID-19 vaccine arrives in Indiana, hospitals are working to make sure it gets to the right people. Next, a live report on how you can help healthcare workers in the next phase of fighting this pandemic. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on WRTV. Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana, and hospitals across central Indiana are working together. Their goal to make sure the local response to the pandemic is as effective as possible. WRTV's Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with what they need from you this morning. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Raphael. So local hospitals say they are facing a potential crisis because COVID-19 cases continue to rise unabated. They say that beds, ventilators, and other support systems are being stressed to their limits. So hospital heads from Ascension St. Vincent, Community Health Network, Eskenazi Health, Franciscan Health, IU Health, and more. They got together yesterday via Zoom addressing the current state of the pandemic in central Indiana. IU Health right now has over 1,100 employees on quarantine, but news of the vaccine to be delivered and distributed Wednesday to IU Health Methodist Hospital as one of the 5 hospitals in the state first to receive the vaccine brought excitement to those healthcare workers.
It's the first time we can go on the offensive with this virus. And so we've been playing defense. We've been hiding.
I heard from my staff the hope, the light at the end of the tunnel for the vaccine. Oh my gosh, it's just there. But we also are frightened.
So some still scared about the back-to-back holidays, doubling the existing surge of patients. Doctors say, like other aerosol-transmitted viruses, COVID-19 lasts longer in the drier winter air. That, coupled with the cold weather, forcing people indoors with poorer ventilation. They're begging people to socially distance and, of course, lower the people who are in your house, limit that amount of people in your home this holiday season. Now, hospitals, we learned yesterday, cannot require their staff to get the vaccine based on the language in the emergency authorization. They also say they will not be separating employees who receive the vaccine with those who don't. Instead, they say they'll be protecting all of their employees at the same time. Now, it's still unclear whether the vaccine reduces your symptoms or actually reduces the ability to spread the virus. Of course, we will learn more as research continues to develop on these vaccines. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you so much. So now let me take you to Allen County, where Hoosier healthcare workers in Fort Wayne among the first to receive the first doses of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. A doctor, nurse, respiratory therapist, pharmacist, patient care technician, and environmental services tech were vaccinated just after noon Monday at Parkview Health there in Fort Wayne. Just over 55,000 doses of Pfizer's vaccine are being shipped to healthcare facilities around the state. More doses are expected in the coming weeks. Here locally, IU Health Methodist in Indianapolis expects to begin vaccinating frontline healthcare workers tomorrow. So 5 pilot hospitals in Indiana are receiving the vaccine first. Those include Parkview Health, as I mentioned, in Fort Wayne, Clark Memorial in Jeffersonville, and IU Health right here in Indianapolis. Deaconess Hospital in Evansville and Community Hospital in Munster will also get the vaccine. Like IU Health, Deaconess Hospital and Community Health in Munster are still waiting on their first shipments. After the pilot hospitals, the next step will be delivering the vaccine to about 50 sites across the state. Meanwhile, the federal government has doubled its order of Moderna's COVID-19 vaccine for a total of 200 million doses. Once it receives approval, medical supply company McKesson will ship just under 6 million doses. Now, similar to Pfizer, Moderna's vaccine is given in 2 doses spaced over 4 weeks, but it doesn't have to stay quite as cold during shipping and storage. UPS and FedEx will be in charge of getting the vaccine to their destinations. According to the head scientist of Operation Warp Speed, Moderna's vaccine could be approved by the end of this week and ready to ship soon after. Meijer pharmacies will soon provide COVID-19 vaccine inside its stores. Now, Meijer is also looking for bigger spaces, possibly stadiums, to hold vaccine clinics. The company cited its flu shot clinics at Lucas Oil Stadium and Co-America Park in Detroit earlier this year as examples of what could be done possibly with the COVID-19 vaccine. It is not exactly clear when Meijer will get and administer that vaccine. Their rights as parents confirmed by the courts. Next, reaction from a Hoosier couple and what a ruling this week means for them and their young son. But first, let's check your forecast with our Todd Clausen. Good morning, TK.
Raphael, all is quiet this morning. You just really need to bundle up across central Indiana with temperatures that are in the 20s. Off to our west, though, there is an area of low pressure that is going to bring us some snow during the day tomorrow. In fact, it'll be snowing by about this time tomorrow morning. We'll break down the potential for accumulation and the exact timeline for you using TrueCast hour by hour coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Some Hoosier families are relieved that the Supreme Court has declined to hear a case from State Attorney General Curtis Hill. Hill wanted to reverse a lower court decision that allowed both partners to be listed on their child's birth certificate. Our Cornelius Hawker shows you why one couple was watching this case very closely.
Jonathan Ballas says there are lots of emotions when the government debates on the rights of his family.
Not feeling like our government is truly being inclusive of us, even though we are a legally recognized, couple.
Jonathan and his husband Jacob have been together for almost 20 years, and their son Truman is 8 years old. So they feel like it just makes sense for both of them to be listed as parents on all their sons' official documents.
It comes down to equal rights. For heterosexual married couples, there is a presumption of parentage that is permitted to be put onto the birth certificate. And so that same presumption should exist for legally married same-sex couples.
While there was frustration the birth certificate case was brought up again, Jonathan says he was encouraged by the court's call to stick with the precedent.
The Supreme Court already has expressed an opinion on birth certificates. They did that in one of the marriage decisions earlier.
Monday's decision is one less thing Jonathan and Jacob have to worry about as they raise their son.
I'm thrilled and surprised, but absolutely pleased that the Supreme Court came back so quickly to reject looking at this.
Despite the stance by the Supreme Court, many gay and lesbian couples have had or are looking into second parent adoptions for that added bit of security if similar cases are brought up and decided differently. Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
Cornelius, thank you. The Attorney General's office tells us it was disappointed by the court's decision to decline taking up this case. Mr. Hill had argued that the previous decision on the case would threaten parental rights based on biology. The time now is 6:46. A new life for an Indianapolis historic site. The new Bottle Works Hotel officially opens today. The hotel is one of the main components of the $300 million redevelopment of the 1930s Coca-Cola bottling plant. The Bottle Works district is on the north end of Mass Ave and also includes a theater, a food hall, shops, parking garage, and much more. The hotel features 139 rooms. At the main entrance, a hand railing winds up the hotel staircase and a decorated stairwell that resembles soda fountains, while the ceiling resembles fizz.
This was already a project that was happening prior to COVID, but obviously I think this really makes people really mindful of how they're spending their time outside of the home, as well as where they're spending their dollar. They're going to want an experience rather than just a cookie cutter hotel or a cookie cutter experience. They want something really special, and I think that's something that we're delivering with this property.
Guest rooms start at around $250. The garage, the food hall, and living room cinema are set to open in January. Time now to check your forecast. Todd Clausen. Hey, Todd, love you. I think I love today. Not too sure about tomorrow, though, but I'm going to let you fill us in.
Well, you've been asking to use your snowblower for about 2 years now, Raphael. So we may give you an opportunity here tomorrow to fire that bad boy up and get out there and do your driveway and the neighbors' driveways as well. We're not talking about a lot of snow heading our way, but if you're antsy, you may have the opportunity to use that snowblower during the day tomorrow. Outside right now, it is quiet. It is cold. 21 in Kokomo, 26 in Shelbyville, 23 is the current temperature in Bloomington. You factor in a little bit of wind, and that puts wind chill values in the teens. So obviously you need to bundle up as you get going here this morning. If the kids are heading out to the bus stop, make sure they have the hat and gloves on, especially if they have to be out there for an extended period of time. Going forward in this forecast, temperatures honestly don't do a whole lot throughout the day today. There could be a little bit of sunshine at times here throughout the morning hours, but then the clouds will win out this afternoon. It becomes an overcast sky with high temperatures right around 33 degrees. Now, the clouds are already increasing, but our storm system is still well off to our west. And you see the snow there from Denver into parts of Nebraska and Kansas. This is going to become a major winter storm, and we are just going to be on the western fringe of this. If you have travel plans tomorrow that take you to the East Coast, you better get out early because they're looking at anywhere from about 10 to 20 inches of snow across parts of Pennsylvania and towards the New York City area. On the other hand, we are not looking at nearly that amount of snow, but the snow will impact the morning commute tomorrow. So plan ahead and join us on Good Morning Indiana starting at 4:30 as this light snow starts to move in. There'll be some mixing that takes place in southern locations that cuts down on your snowfall totals. But the snow will continue off and on fairly light throughout the entire day before tapering off. And that's key. We don't get a big burst of heavy snow really at any point throughout the day. So we're not looking at a period of time where I don't think you'll be able to get out and about and get around. Obviously, roads will be slick in some areas. So give yourself some extra time as you plan ahead. This evening, we are completely quiet. But the snow again arrives throughout the overnight hours. Total accumulation 1 to 3 inches across most of the area, with the roads being impacted the most. And during the daytime hours, notice temperatures. They sneak just above freezing. That may be just warm enough during the daylight hours, at least tomorrow, to keep the snow from really accumulating on the roadways if they are treated. Untreated roads, completely different story. But I do think the road crews will be able to keep up as this snow makes its way through the area. This model shows a little more in the way of mixing taking place down towards Bedford and Seymour, where your snowfall totals are probably going to be closer to 1 inch compared to the rest of central Indiana. That's going to be in this 1 to 3 inch range. And then once you get to the north, Lafayette to Peru, it's probably about 1 to 2 inches of accumulation, as you're just not going to get into the heavier snowfall bands. Here's some specific towns in your neighborhood or where you live, and you can see everybody generally in that 1 to 3 inch total as far as the potential for that accumulation goes. Your 7-day planning forecast, once we get past tomorrow, Thursday's mostly cloudy, but then temperatures climb up into the 40s as we head into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with rain showers in the forecast on Saturday, Raphael, at 42 degrees. But again, tomorrow, light snow throughout most of the day with about 1 to 3 inches of accumulation.
Todd Clausing making sure that we are ready for tomorrow. And don't forget to download the Storm Shield app. We are on cruise control this morning as we take a look at your morning commute. This is I-65, I-70 at the North Split. As you can see, all is moving well this morning. How would you like to get out of the home and see some Christmas lights? Right now, your chance to win a family voucher to Christmas Nights of Lights at the Indiana State Fairgrounds. The Night of Lights features 1 million lights synchronized to Christmas music. This all runs through January the 3rd. To win, just be the 6th caller right now. The number to call, 317-269-1459. While you do that, we'll be right back with the day's top stories and a final look at your forecast right here on Good Morning Indiana. It's a chilly Tuesday morning. Todd has your forecast in just a moment. But first in the news, Vice President Mike Pence returns to Indiana today. Mr. Pence will visit Catalent Biologics in Bloomington. The company is partnering with multiple companies on COVID-19 vaccines and treatments, including Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca, and Moderna. We'll bring you live coverage of the Vice President's visit on the WRTV app. The Indianapolis Colts will reduce the number of fans at Lucas Oil Stadium for Sunday's game against the Texans. 10,000 fans will be able to watch the game from inside Lucas Oil Stadium, down from the previous limit of 12,500. The decision was made in consultation with the Marion County Public Health Department. And Indigo will soon launch a new way for you to pay for your ride. It's called the My Key system, and it uses an app on your phone or a preloaded card. The system was supposed to come online with the Red Line, but there were delays with the vendor, and a temporary system was put in place. The My Key system is expected to be launched in early 2021. Of course, the big news this morning is what Todd Clausen is tracking on that radar. Good morning, Todd.
Yeah, the snow's still well off to our west. It's a quiet day of weather for us today with high temperatures that'll be topping off in the mid-30s and just increasing clouds, Raphael. But as we get into the day tomorrow, morning snow, a little bit of a mixture taking place in the afternoon hours, but about 1 to 3 inches of accumulation across most of the area during the day tomorrow. Thursday's quiet at 36 degrees, and then warmer temperatures work in as we head into the weekend. So any snow that does fall will melt away pretty quickly. Rain showers in the forecast Saturday, but make sure you join us tomorrow morning starting at 4:30 right here at Good Morning Indiana. I'll have the latest on the snow because at that point it's just starting to make its way into the area.
Well, Todd, we thank you so much. We leave you with this beautiful view of downtown Indianapolis. We must also tell you, as we say good morning to New Palestine, Canby, and Lapel, no major incidents on the roads this morning, so you should have a great commute as you come into work. Whether you're going on errands this morning, all should be well. What a view. Always look at the downtown skyline. We should tell you that we'll have the latest news and updates throughout Good Morning America right here on WRTV. And follow us, of course. Don't forget to download the Storm Shield app. As Todd was talking, he's tracking the potential for some snow during tomorrow morning's commute. Thank you for watching Good Morning Indiana. We appreciate your time. We'll see you tomorrow morning right here on WRTV.